Welcome to Get Ahead with Nick podcast number 4. Just me today, no guest. And clearly, if you're watching this on YouTube, my podcast studio is actually under development right now. So bear with me. More details on that to come. Anyway, let's get into the important stuff. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing your time and energy. This one won't be too long. It's just me. And I'm going to provide you as much free and valuable content as I can, as always. So let's get into it. Today I am going to talk about this very, very powerful part of the brain that you can use to create success and momentum in your life. This part of the brain that you can use to create momentum and success in your life is called the reticular activating system. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not have. Either way, you're going to learn about it now. So the reticular activating system, what is that? It sounds complicated, but it's actually not. The reticular activating system is kind of a filter that your brain uses to decide what's important information and what's not. For example, have you ever bought a new car and then suddenly you start to see that car all over the road? Let's say it's a Honda Accord. It feels like everyone is driving a Honda Accord all of a sudden, and you see them absolutely everywhere. Why is that? It's because after buying the car, your brain has set its filter, the reticular activating system, to decide that this is valuable information. So now you notice it every time you see a Honda Accord. It's not that the Honda Accords were not always there. They were always there and all over the road. But you have changed a part of your brain to now decide that this information is valuable. Some of you probably already see how you can implement this in your own life, but I'm going to give you another good example, maybe even 2 good examples, as to how this works regularly. Have you ever been at maybe a concert or in a large crowd and very loud, lots of people talking, can't really hear anything, but then all of a sudden, through all of that noise, you hear someone say your name? They might not even be talking to you. It could be someone, let's say you're at a concert, it could be someone 5-10 rows away, but you hear your name. It's because your brain filters that out and says, it's processing all of this information and everything that everyone is talking about and filtering it out, saying it's not important. But then you hear something that your brain deemed to be important, and everything is going through the filter, kind of like through this microphone I'm speaking into, and it filters that out. It grabs that and says, wait a minute, we should hold on to this. That's important. Someone said my name. They must be talking to me. Another good example is when you see red and blue lights on the highway. You know that this is obviously a police officer in some respect, or an ambulance, something like that. But it's not because the lights are red and blue that you notice that. It's because your brain has been trained to process that as significant. Your reticular activating system turns on and says, wait a minute, this is an important piece of information. If cop cars had green and purple lights on top, then red and blue lights would not be very significant to you. If you saw green and purple lights outside of your house, you would be peeking out the window saying, hey, what's going on out there? It must be something important. So now that you have a slight idea of how the reticular activating system works, let's talk about how we can train it to help us to create momentum in our lives and get us closer towards our goals. So you can program this part of your brain to seek out opportunities that will move you toward your goals. The best way to program the RAS is in your brain is through repetition and using affirmations and mantras. All right, again, the best way to program your RAS is using mantras and positive affirmations to set this filter. So if you understand now that this is going to be used to filter out useful information. What kind of affirmations are you supposed to be doing? How does this relate? I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me just last week, and it's kind of crazy, so listen up. So I would say about 4 months ago, I had been doing an affirmation every morning. I wake up 2 hours at least, 2 hours before I have to go to work so I can do some things for myself. I've talked about this in other podcasts. Maybe I'll go for a walk, maybe I'll exercise, meditate, whatever. But I will always make at least 5 minutes to meditate, do some affirmations. The affirmation that I was doing, I did this one I think I did it for maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. I was doing it for a while and doing it most days. The affirmation was this. Steal this affirmation if it's going to help you. I will become financially free to make money doing things that I love. It's simple. I'm going to say it again so you get to hear it twice. I will become financially free to make money doing things that I love. Nice, simple affirmation. And I was doing this, and I didn't fully know how it actually is that I'm going to make this money or become financially free, or what the thing that I love is. There's lots of things I love. There's lots of ways to make money. And I already had this business in place, but I didn't actually know whether it was going to be through the business or something else that I love or whatever it is. And I would change the affirmation around slightly just to suit me and keep it from getting too stale. Sometimes I would say, I will become financially free by helping people. I will become financially free by creating value for people. Just something to get me in the mindset of the fact that I do not want to be tied down to a 9-to-5 job until I'm 65 and can retire. I want my life to be much different than that. And if you're watching this, I know you do too. So make sure you follow, like, and stay with me through this journey. We'll all get there together. All right, so now back to the story of how this related to me. So I was doing this affirmation, right? And then only about a week ago, right now it is Sunday morning. It might be like 6 or 7 in the morning. I've been up for a little while. Last Monday, I went to a hot yoga class. I've been doing this like 3 times a week. I'm going to have to do a whole nother podcast on the benefits of that, even if it sounds like it's not up your alley or you're too manly for it, because sometimes I go and I'm the only guy in there. Anyway, whole new podcast coming on that, but I do want to say that you are never too cool, too tough, too anything to do something that's going to be good for you. Back to the story. So I get to this hot yoga class Monday night. It's at 8 p.m. And I get there at maybe like 7:40 because I'm early for everything and I need to stretch before everything. I needed to stretch before I do an hour of stretching. Yoga is much more than that. It's more about breathing, but you get my point. So I could have been quiet. I could have just threw my mat down, picked a spot to set up, just did some stretches. But I'm chatty, and I like to get to know my instructors. It was only my 3rd class with this instructor. And I was the only one there, because who gets there 20 minutes early? No one but me. So I was like, what is tonight's practice going to be like? What are we going to be doing tonight? That was what I said to her. And we started talking, and she explained what we're going to be doing, this and that. And then she was just talking about teaching, and she loves teaching. And I was like, well, what's your favorite part of teaching yoga classes? Because I know that I have some interest in doing that. And she said that her favorite part is the public speaking aspect. She's always been good at yoga, but she has not always been good at public speaking. And this is a chance for her to improve her public speaking skills. And that's her favorite part. Plus, she loves that she gets to influence people and leave a positive impact on them and improve their day. And I thought that was awesome. And I told her that I, too, love having a positive impact on people, and that I have a life coaching business. And I like to speak publicly, even though it's scary and challenging. That's why I like it. I like to get uncomfortable, and you should too. More podcasts coming on that as well. I'm going to do one about ice baths, the benefits, how important it is to get uncomfortable in your own life. Anyway, back to the story. So we both like to have a positive impact on people. And I told her about my life coaching business. And she said, that is so cool. And she said, you should look into becoming a yoga teacher. And I said, actually, yeah, I have been. I think I want to get my 200-hour yoga teacher training certification. And she said, really? And I said, yeah. I was kind of like financially preparing maybe to do it in the fall or something. And she said, that is so crazy that you just said that, because I just found out that in September, we're going to be doing yoga teacher training certifications here. And my jaw just dropped, and I was like, how did this just fall right into my lap right now? How? Like, how does such an opportunity just present itself? Because if I were to get there even 10 minutes later, there would have been people there already, and I wouldn't have had this conversation, right? If I got there, there are just so many things that could have gotten in the way of this conversation happening, and this conversation going exactly the way it did and the route that it did before this opportunity just fell into my lap. And it wasn't until after the yoga class that I realized that I probably manifested this. It was just the law of attraction due to the fact that I was doing those affirmations. Because I love yoga. I've always loved yoga. I've been doing it for years. I've only just now really taken my practice seriously and been going to yoga classes a lot. And it was just mind-blowing how I was doing these affirmations, right? I didn't know how, but I knew that I wanted to make money doing something that I love and that helps people. And it would push me towards financial freedom, to be able to travel and not be tied down to a job that I don't love. And it just fell right into my lap. So what we can draw from this is that by setting the filter in this part of your brain to align with your goals in life, even if the goal is not that clear, you will find and create opportunities that originally would have been filtered out or just would have never presented themselves in the first place. Sometimes even the opportunity will find you. And if you're not programming your reticular activating system to seek out these opportunities, to deem them important in the back of your mind, then you may not ever get the chance. If I was not doing this affirmation, this conversation, even though it was 4 months after I did this specific affirmation, and I've moved on to other ones since then, this conversation I had would have probably gone very differently. Even if it was just slightly different, I probably would not have asked what is her favorite part of teaching a yoga class. I probably would not have asked that. We probably would have just been talking about the actual practice, and I would have said something about how, oh, that's great, my hips are super tight, if you could work in some hip openers or something like that. And we would have just had a surface level conversation. But we took it to that deeper level. And then we both had a moment of, oh my God, that is so crazy. And I know you've had moments like this in your life where you say, oh my God, that's crazy. I cannot believe this just happened. We were just talking about that. Or I was just thinking this, or something along those lines. Those moments are not as random as they may seem. When you are discussing something with a friend and then later that thing happens, whether it's the next day, the next month, the next year, you have began to turn on this part of your brain to recognize that opportunity. It's pretty crazy stuff. So now let's backtrack a little bit. You're probably thinking about the affirmations. You might be hung up on that part. What kind of affirmations am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to say them out loud or in my head? I like to mix it up. Sometimes I say them out loud. Sometimes I say them in my head. This may vary depending on like your situation. Like if you have a roommate, you may not want to be doing them out loud because you fear judgment from your roommate or something. I don't know. Everyone's circumstance is different. I like to switch it up though. Sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head, just to make sure that I'm getting a good balance, because a lot of you have probably never talked to yourself or said something nice to yourself in the mirror because you think it's weird. You critique yourself and you're judging yourself so hard that you could not just look at yourself in the mirror and say something like, something nice about yourself, whatever that may be. Drop the judgment, drop the self-criticism, and give it a try. It might feel weird at first, but I'm telling you, over time, if you can get to that level of being comfortable with yourself and loving yourself and showing yourself love, it will be very powerful in your life. Mel Robbins, some of you might know who she is. She's also like a self-development guru. She has a book, I believe it's called The High Five Habit, or like something about high-fiving yourself. And it literally teaches you to try high-fiving yourself in the mirror and how weird it is. And a lot of people will not try it. They will not let themselves have that moment and like high-five themselves in the mirror. They will not do it because they think it feels so weird. But that's kind of a deeper subconscious issue that you almost feel like you don't deserve it. You don't deserve a high five from yourself, or you don't deserve to say something nice about yourself. And that's just simply not true. So try these things out and get a little bit comfortable talking to yourself just a little bit. When you wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, try giving yourself a high five or saying just one nice thing about yourself. It's not like every time you're alone, you need to be talking to yourself. Like that might be a little too far, but just try it just a little bit. Say these affirmations out loud. Affirm something nice about yourself. And a lot of people ask, how fast will they work? And clearly there is no answer to that question. In my example, I was doing that affirmation or some variation of it for 4, 5, 6 weeks. And this was 4 months ago. I don't even do that affirmation anymore. I think I'm going to start doing it again after what has just happened. But there is no exact time frame. It could be, depending on your affirmation, the thing that you want to happen might happen 5 days from now, 5 years from now, 50 years from now. But you are more likely, scientifically and statistically, to achieve that thing if your reticular activating system is looking for that opportunity. Otherwise, the opportunity may pass you by 3 times before on the 4th time you actually capitalize on it. But if your reticular activating system has been trained to seek these things out, you will absolutely increase your chances of it happening. It's simple and it's the facts. Another question people have: when is the best time to do these affirmations? I would say right when you wake up, not right when you wake up, but sometime in the first hour or the last hour of your day, right? So before bed, the benefits to that are that you're programming your subconscious to think about these things while you're sleeping, and you may further increase your chance of activating this part of your brain. Most people don't think about this, but the last 5 minutes, really the last few minutes, hours even of your day, you're programming what you're going to dream about and what your subconscious is going to think about. So if the last thing you do before bed is scroll Instagram, you're not setting yourself up for a very successful sleep. If before bed you're doing these affirmations to create success in your business or in your personal life or achieve a goal, whether you realize it or not, you're going to be thinking about these things while you're dreaming and while you're sleeping, and again, just further increasing your chance of making your dreams come true. I like to do these in the morning, though. When you do these affirmations in the morning, I like to do them following a walk, a workout, or a meditation, so that my mind is relaxed and I'm not going to have to deal with that judgment and those feelings of like, this feels weird, this feels a little wrong. I want to feel like, I usually like to do it after meditation so that my mind is clear and I'm relaxed and I'm focused. We could talk more about meditation too. Another good podcast idea. I'm going to keep providing you guys free, valuable content, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like it, make sure you leave a review if it's helping you and you're looking forward to more. This is the best way to support me for free. So that's what I've got on like the frequently asked questions. So I have a lot more about affirmations and some sample affirmations in my 21-day mental reset program. You could find this at getaheadwithnick.com. Make sure you go on there, book a free 30-minute strategy session, and we can find a way to fit this program into your own schedule and your own budget, because I know people are busy and I know a lot of people have financial constraints. Some people that I meet with, they have a large budget for self-development and they want to have frequent coaching calls and get this program and get additional help on top of that. And I can make that happen. Other people have a very tight budget and a very tight schedule, and they just want to use this call to create a routine for themselves. They don't even want the 21-day mental reset program because it's not within their budget. They just need some free tips to get them on track, and that's totally fine too. If you want to book one of these strategy sessions, I'm not going to force you to buy anything that you don't need or you can't afford, but we can still create a custom roadmap for your success. So don't hesitate to go to my website, go to the link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, and get onto my website, book a strategy session on Calendly, and let's have a discussion about it. You've got nothing to lose. Also, make sure you follow my social medias. You can follow me on Instagram at getaheadwithnick. TikTok is at getaheadwithnick. And my Twitter is getaheadwnick. Again, one more time, my website is also getaheadwithnick.com. So everything is pretty user-friendly there. That's all I've got for today. I hope this helped you. Again, rate, subscribe, like, comment, do any of the things that you can to provide me free value, and I will provide as much free value as I can in return. Thanks for listening, and let's get ahead.